Hello. So that's another week gone. I'm quite impressed I've been able to keep this up so far. Uh, it's about a month now. It's now the 2nd of October, I believe. Um, yeah, I'm quite glad it's gone well so far, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than just typing out a diary. So this week I did say I'd be doing something on co-production, but I've postponed that just because I thought there's some other more exciting stuff I could talk about. Um, so this week I've been looking over kind of a bigger project for the year. We thought it'd be a good idea if I had a more grand project to work on over the next 6, 7 months, and so basically at the end I can have something that I can say I've contributed to Dynamite. Um, so the basic plan is is an outreach plan to get more members for Dynamite. And this is essentially because over at the minute, uh, the membership of Dynamite is fairly small, but the issue is it's aging out of um, out of kind of what the what our requirements are for Dynamite. So Dynamite caters to those 18 to no Dynamite caters for those aged 14 to 25. A lot of our membership is in the latter half of that age bracket, and going past the age range. Of course, like we're not just pushing people away after that time, but um, we really want younger people, um, just both so we can keep Dynamite going, and and so we can be a bit more representative as well. Uh, so my basic plan for this year, um, is to work on that and how we can get more people. So I'll go through kind of the goal for this now. So to start with, 10 new regular members of Dynamite. So this is just our regular membership. Um, this we The aim is to have 10 new members who regularly come to our events. And next, we got 2 new core group members, or at least 2 new core members lined up. And our core group, as I've explained before, is where all our decisions go through. Um, and so it's kind of the heart of everything we do. And although we got trustees at the charity, every decision made in the interest of Dynamite goes through the core group. Half of new members will not have an EHCP. Now, EHCP is an education healthcare plan, and the education healthcare plan determines what support young people get in schools. It's a bit different to those who have SEND needs. So everyone who has EHCP is also in the SEND bracket. Now, the difference is that those with EHCP usually needs more support. So EHCP dictates essentially it essentially grants a school more funding for that particular student, uh, where an um, SEND support does not cover the support that child needs, and so it probably works out. Let me think. About 20-30% of those with SEND. And the basic idea about we are looking for this is that though those with EHCPs are generally more on the radar of their schools and their SEND departments. So those without an those without an EHCP um, are, are are still familiar with their departments, but um, they may not always be getting the right support or that. And a big thing at the minute is that actually these are likely to be the people that are struggling more because they aren't necessarily having all the support they need. So going on to the next one, a proportion of new members will not have a formal SEND diagnosis, and this is a big thing because actually a lot of people with a lot of young people will show certain signs that they may have more educational needs. So, for example, myself, I had I showed signs of dyslexia, but I was never given that diagnosis. However, I always had that SEND and EHCP support because of my visual impairment. Now, I think it'd be really good to kind of approach these young people just because actually they will have insight and they will be struggling themselves. The only issue is that how just thinking about how difficult it will be to find these young people because it's unlikely they will be on the radar of their SEND departments. Maybe more likely um, of their teachers, parents, carers, youth workers, and so on. So ideas might be to approach parent groups and so on. And last one, aim to have new members between the ages of 14 to 18. And again, this is just because we want to be more representative, and our current age group is current membership is kind of aging out of Dynamite. Now, how am I going to achieve these? So I've come up with this idea that we'll have 2 events over the next 6-7 months. First one will be in I'm saying late November at the time right now. This might change, but I feel like this is a good time. It gives me a good time to plan, but it's not too late. It's not too late in a year, meaning that I can kind of follow up on the young people as well. Second event will be, I'm saying mid-February. Again, gives me a good time after Christmas to plan, but it's not too late in the year, because I'd rather not everything be too last minute before I leave. So before those times, I'll be working on approaching new members, and this will be through schools, through parent groups, and other services, and so on. And it's really about pushing these people in helping us get new members and identifying who may be interested in these. And I think the big thing is that those without any EHCP may not be as may not feel so welcome, or they might not feel so confident in joining us as a group, especially the social aspects of it. But I think it's just that encouragement and showing them how they can maybe make some change. Let me see. Okay, so another part of this will be to develop and co-produce a new accessibility offer for young people at Zoom events and other online activities. Because so at the minute we're finding that a lot of young people are kind of tired of Zoom. Just to start with, there's a numerous amount of people that weren't able to use Zoom or just felt the use of technology was a little difficult. So I'm going to look at how we can maybe make that more exciting, or not more exciting, but just more accessible for especially those who are neurodiverse, so those with learning difficulties and so on, as well as general accessibility, I guess. So visual impairments and hearing impairments. Mobility disabilities may be harder to make accessible because it's more to do with hardware, but there are provisions about for the council and schools and colleges to provide technology. Let me see. So the events I really want to be exclusive for new members, with maybe one core group member in attendance so that they're familiar. The reason why I want it to be exclusive is so when there's a large amount of new members, they will feel comfortable and confident together. Because if we had a mix of new and old, the new members may not feel so confident and comfortable. After each event, I'm going to have a review of the event. And after the second event, I'm going to have a review of how the recruitment's gone as well. The reviews will help me determine how successful they've been and how I can make improvements. After the second review, I'll definitely be making definitely be writing up a report or something about how we can better events in the future. The difficulty is events are going to be really hard at the minute, especially with restrictions. We're trying to figure out how, if it's possible to do any in-person restrictions, because we're not technically restricted by the 6-person rule as a charity, but we want to keep people safe, so we've got to find a good mix. And last bit is to create a core group job specification. Because at the minute it's essentially the core group has essentially been everyone's just agreed to have a certain person join. Now the issue with that is there's no standards there. Now, I mean, there's so many issues with this because the core group does require a certain amount of skills, and as much as we want to be inclusive and as diverse as we want to be, the core group members are to an extent need to be able to have a certain amount of desirable attributes. They need to be able to sit in meetings, they need to be able to understand certain parts of jargon. So it's really difficult, and we've thought about having like some kind of election or something like that, but it's really difficult. But I think a good start will be to have a core group job specification. So I mean that's kind of the basic plan so far. It's gonna be I have a good feeling it's going to change a lot over that time, over the next 6 months, just naturally, especially as restrictions go. But I mean, there's not a lot else we can do about it. I just thought it'd be good to have that kind of difference, that kind of I mean, not difference, but it's just good to have that kind of plan in place. And it does mean if I need to, I can change it up. But it's also good just for me to kind of look at this at the end of end of my placement and see what kind of success I've had, and what kind of what I've really contributed to Dynamite. Whether this will work, I don't know. I feel confident as it's possible, but it's just about doing it. It's quite a lot. It's quite well. It's not a lot, but it's very intimidating, I guess. I don't know. But I feel good about it, and having I've been here about a month now, so I feel good talking to different people in different groups. I've been in a lot of meetings with SENCO leads of schools and SEND departments and colleges, and other groups. So I feel good communicating with different people, and I've already set up a few meetings with different people as well. Yeah, so this is kind of basic plan. I'm going to write up a more detailed plan to so I can give to the trustees. Kind of gives them, so it will give them a brief of what I'm doing and why. I'm gonna try and format it in a way that I can show it to university staff as well. So in a sense it will be um, it will be understandable, and it will be accessible to young people as well, so they have full transparency. And I think that's really important when we're doing co-production. And all of this is really guarded through the young people as well, so that they totally agree on this, and I'll continue to do that throughout this, and a lot of the things. So the planning of events, reviews, and so on will require the assistance of the young people in the core group, as well as other professionals, of course. I will come back to co-production at another day, but yeah, it's all getting very exciting. I'm glad I now have something. I now have like a thing to work towards. Of course, I will be doing other stuff throughout the year. I'm going to be looking at training for businesses, so they can be more inclusive for those who have disabilities. The local offer, I'm going to work more on. I really have a meeting with the person about that. Yeah, all the SEN stuff's really interesting. I found lots of really interesting documents about it. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how it's going to go, but I might do an update at some point, maybe after the first event or before that event, but yeah, let's see how it goes. Thanks for listening to my random ball. See you soon. Bye.